Here we go. Hey everyone, today we have a really good show for... Now, Spanish is an interesting language, right? I love it a lot. It's actually... Guys, I have like about a minute or two here. My students getting ready for our lesson, and I want to show you something which I am kind of surprised at. So check this out, okay? So here we have on my Anchor, right? We have different episodes that I've posted, right? So, and here's what's interesting, right? So I made a first French post yesterday, as you guys can see. 12 of them came from podcast listeners. That means like iTunes Music, iTunes Podcasts, or Google Play Music, right? If we look here, in the Spanish one, we have 19 people who listen to it on my podcast, which is, for me, interesting because I have literally done essentially zero to promote my podcast. And so it's quite fascinating for me that I have people that listen on the podcast. It's a novel concept for me, and I'm trying to wrap my head around where these people have found me, because I know basically zero or very little about the actual podcasting world, and I have no tech for podcasting, no like equipment, no real microphone, nothing. But anyway, just wanted to get that out because it was quite surprising for me. Now, for people who don't know, essentially in Mandarin there are two separate writing systems. There is a traditional writing system and a simplified writing system. The difference is that essentially before, in the past, everyone used the traditional system. Until, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 1950, 1949, somewhere around there. I could be wrong on the exact date, but somewhere in there, China, mainland China, essentially switched to a simplified system. What they did is they took the traditional characters and they made them a little bit simpler to actually write. And the whole goal around this, if I'm not mistaken, please, if I am wrong, someone correct me, it'd be very appreciated. But my understanding was that they changed it to a simplified system because they wanted to increase, it was an attempt to increase literacy, essentially, in China, in mainland China. So I had just come back from France, and I was really ticked off because before going to France, I was 15 years old, by the way, so before going to France, I wanted to take Spanish in high school. However, I couldn't because I was going to be doing a semester, well, basically a semester abroad in France, and the way that the class schedule worked out, I couldn't actually take the Spanish class because I wasn't in Canada. So when I was in France, I used to read websites to actually learn more about Spanish and how it works, etc., 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 etc. When I came back from France, I was already like, yeah, I want to learn Spanish. And so essentially what happened in my high school, I went to the teacher and said, hey, I didn't take level 1 Spanish, aka we call it Spanish 10. I didn't actually take it, but I want to go directly into level 2 Spanish, aka Spanish 20. And she's like, yep, write a placement test and prove to me that you know your stuff and you're in. Wrote a test, I apparently wrote it well and was able to get into this level 2 Spanish. And actually your questions made me think of something that I haven't really thought about in the past, which is that I used to think, until literally right now, based on my memory, that I was into languages after coming back from France. But I just realized now that even prior France, even prior to that, I'm more talking to myself now, but even before going to France, I still liked languages, actually. I really did. I wanted to take Spanish, and I was ticked off that I couldn't. So now that makes me wonder where my whole passion for languages started. Because the way I've always talked about it and the way that I thought until you asked me this question was that I thought I started to like for languages after coming back from my semester abroad in France. But I don't know if that's the case anymore, because I clearly liked Spanish beforehand. Anyway, you got me thinking. Have I caught you at an okay time? Okay. I just wanted to give you a show. I got your email yesterday, and so I had a couple of questions because I think you didn't answer the questions that I written in the email. So I wanted to make sure. Okay. So I won't be sending anything at this point because I just haven't had my questions answered, and those are pretty important to me. Very frustrating challenge right now. I can't really talk about what it is fully, but yeah, obviously can't really show much of that phone call, but still, very, very, very frustrating. Frustrating to say the least. I hope you guys can see me with the poor lighting, but I've tried to get some lights on in my car so that you can at least kind of see me. But For the past 5 to 8:30 p.m. I was teaching some lessons that couldn't really record. Some of my students I don't actually have permission to record while we're teaching, so which is why sometimes I can't show footage. So that was from 5 to 8:30. 8:30 to 9:30 I did a little bit of editing work and a little bit of marketing stuff to obviously move the business forward. And now I'm about to go meet up with a friend yeah, just hang out in a bar. Just finished hanging out with my friend, and actually I wanted to share one last thing, and this is where we're going to end today's video. I want to share a bit of a flaw that I have, and it was pointed out to me a little bit earlier today, and I thought it'd be, thought I could open up and share it with you guys. So my flaw is basically this: whenever it comes to language classes, I skip a lot. I really skip a lot, and I waste a lot of money. Because what happens is I'll pay for a certain number of classes, right? But then at the end of the day, I'll pay for, let's say, whatever, X number of hours. I'll only attend like 60% of them, 70% of them. So for example, as you guys probably saw today, I didn't have my Chinese class, right? I didn't have it. And tomorrow I'm not gonna go, and Friday I'm not gonna go. Like, that's a lot of hours I'm not attending. So it's a flaw that I have when it comes to language learning, and I know it. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, it's not a good one. And it's what the funny thing is for me, like I'm relatively okay with it. I'm not overly bothered by it per se. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, I don't know if that's just like, I don't know if it's okay because I just feel okay with it, or yeah, I'm not really sure how to take it. But yeah, something I thought I'd share to wrap things up. So anyway, have a good night. I've got to edit this vlog. It's really late. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.